Hey guys, and welcome to episode 5, I believe, of my Out of the Park Baseball 21 series with the Chicago Cubs. And we are at spring training. And just as a quick reminder of our offseason, couple of moves, I wouldn't call either of them earth-shattering major, but moves that should help shore us up going into the 2021 season. We signed Chris Archer to a 3-year, $24 million contract, $8 million a year, plus a couple of incentives in there. Locked him up through his age 35 season. Archer, 4 solid pitches, good stamina, good stuff. So it should be a good pitcher right at the top of our rotation. We also traded for Salvador Perez, traded a couple of low-level minor leaguers for him. If he can replicate his 2018 or 2020 seasons, I will be more than satisfied with that. 20 to 25 home runs, 240 batting average, solid defense. We will run with that. So we're going to let the AI, or I guess the bench coach, set our pitching staffs for the preseason, or spring training, not preseason. Same thing with the lineups. We'll let the AI set that. I am going to move Hazley into the starting lineup, and Almora will be on the bench at the beginning of the season. But this is how the AI wants to run right now. So before we sim through spring training, let's take a look and see what's left on the free agent market. Just to take a look. See if we can get any value here. So batter-wise, yeah, I mean, we're looking for, potentially somebody to replace Frazier down the road, but there's nobody here that I would jump on. Pitcher-wise, I think there were a couple of starters. Yeah, there are 3 starters right here at the top. I might try to see if I can get one of them on 1-year cheap money. Corey Kluber is probably the best of the bunch, even though he had a really bad season in Texas last year. He's asking for 3 years, $6.5 million. I bet I could sign him to I'd be perfectly content signing him to a 1-year deal worth 10 or 11 million. Kevin Gausman wants 4 years at $3 million. I mean, I'd be happy doubling that for a year if I could get him for 6. I would take that. And then James Paxton, pretty good numbers as well. He struggled last year with the Yankees, but he's only 1 year removed from a 15-win, 190 strikeout, 3-WAR season. Actually, it's weird. It's got him listed on the Red Sox. I don't know if that's just because he's a free agent, but he's looking for 3 years at $6 million. I'd be perfectly happy bringing him in at 9 or 10 for a year. So let's make some offers there, see if we can line something up and potentially strengthen our rotation a little bit. So when we come back, it'll be opening day. We will set the lineup, set the rosters, and get to some baseball. So we'll be right back. All right, we are just a couple days away from opening day. You see the Cubs finished spring training 13-15, which was good for first place. And I mentioned those 3 pitchers that I was looking at in free agency. Corey Kluber at the top of that list, I guess. I got a trade offer from the Red Sox, and I did a little scouting. And when it was all said and done, I pulled the trigger and acquired a pitcher that way. So instead of signing one via free agency, we have made a deal. So we sent Albert Almora Jr. and a minor league pitcher to the Red Sox for left-handed starter Eduardo Rodriguez. I wasn't expecting a 27-year-old to be available. But when he was, I jumped all over it. He's got back-to-back 200-inning seasons, so he's got the stamina. He's relatively durable, got 4 good pitches, above-average stuff, movement, and control. It was a little tough last year, 11-13 with a 5.13 ERA, but again, he's a year removed from winning 19 games and leading the league in games started. So I'm very happy with this pickup. He will slot in. I think our AI puts him at the top of the rotation. I don't know if I want him or Archer there. That's something we will discuss in a minute. So we have to get down to 26 players on the active roster. We're currently at 32. So the easy thing to do is to look for injuries first, and we don't have any. So most of these cuts are going to be from the bullpen. So if we look at how pitchers did in the preseason, keep calling it the preseason, spring training, excuse me. I really don't want to send down Rex Brothers. I get such a kick out of these numbers, but he had a difficult time. 6.23 ERA. Send down Corey Abbott. Let's see, let's do this. Let's go to pitching ratings. Let's just take a look. Rowan Wick. He can go down. He has to clear waivers. Can I get anything for him? Just take a look. Unless I can get a process, even like a 3-star prospect, I'll probably just put him on waivers. Relief pitchers are a dime a dozen. Yeah, nobody. All right, sorry, Rowan. We are going to designate you for assignment. So that puts us at 30. So we got to get 4 more players out of here. We've got 16 players on the pitching roster right now. So we need to send 3 more down. We don't need 3 left-handed pitchers. Brad Week will go down. He has to clear waivers. Can I get anything for him? Let's take a look. Nothing. All right, so he's going to be designated as well. So that puts us at 29. So we got to send 2 more pitchers down, huh? It's going to be a tough decision. I think it's got to be Tyson Miller and Jack Patterson, right? It's got to be the other one. And Rex Brothers will be our... Yeah. All right, so there are... And then let's just set it while we're here, because that gives us 27, right? 27. All right, so let's clear. And so we're going to set our rotation. Let's do this. So we've got Wright, Urias, Rodriguez. I'm going to go with Archer as my ace, I think. I just think the stuff is a little bit better. The control's a little bit better. Andy was our big-time free agent signing, so I think he should be number 1. Plug Rodriguez in at number 2. Wright at number 3. Loaiziga be number 4. Yeah, and Urias would be number 5. I would kind of like to go left, right, left, but I don't know if that's going to be a possibility here. So I think Loaiziga's numbers are just a little bit better than Urias, so we'll go with that. Go Archer as the starter. How did Hendricks 491 Barnes? You know, we're going to make Matt Barnes the closer this year. Hendricks will be set up. Arano will be set up. Lugo's going to be middle relief, used more often. Brothers is going to be a lefty specialist, and middle relief, I think. I'm going to put him in as high leverage as well, because I think Lugo's going to have a really nice year. He's a really solid pitcher. He's not going to get himself into trouble. He's not going to walk batters. He's going to strike a lot of people out. So I want him in there when things are rough. Davy Garcia is going to be a middle reliever. Mitchell White will be our long man, and Adbert Alzolay will be our emergency / middle relief as well. So I think that's a pretty solid bullpen as long as everybody stays healthy. Barnes is going to strike a ton of people out as long as he can maintain his control a little bit. I don't like having low control guys in my closer role, but we'll see how it goes. We've always got Hendricks there in a backup role in case it's needed. Yeah, I mean, he pitched really well down the stretch for us last year, but you know what? No. We paid him to be the closer, so he's going to be the closer. Overthink things here. So we have to send one batter down. I'd rather send down play second and short. I'd rather move Bodie, to be honest with you. What can I get for David Bodie? Get some prospects. I mean, is this something we really want to consider here? Drew Ellis, a pretty solid third baseman, but he's going to be trapped behind Bryant. Ryan McKenna. It's not bad. High ratings. He can play all three outfield positions. He might be a replacement for Heredia once he starts to get a little more expensive. Good speed, good defense, good defensive ratings. Struggled in AAA last year, but let's see what else is available. Jarren Duran. He's kind of that out of nowhere prospect that the Red Sox have been hyping up this offseason. Plays second base as well as the outfield. Played really well in Portland last year. Ton of stolen bases. Elite level speed. Pretty good eye. It's a possibility. Let's see what else we got. Can never have enough starting pitching. Meh. We also got to consider moving Bodie from a financial perspective. He's not expensive this year, but his salary starts to jump up next year. Jesus or Jesus Sanchez, pretty good bat. Defensively, he's not as good as McKenna. And that's really what I look for out of my backup outfielders. I want someone to play defense. Khalil Lee. Again, this is sort of the batting profile I like. I love the high discipline, high gap power guys. I don't know why. It's just I've always had a thing for that style of player in OOTP. Yeah, I thought Khalil Lee would be rated a little bit higher than that. It could just be my scout. Yeah, we got him scouted as average. OSA has him as, I mean, if his numbers were closer to this, that feels like a no-brainer to me. Let's do this. Just request a scouting report. Edwin Usita. Jared Oliver. What else do we have? Nick Gordon. Pretty solid middle infielder. Kyle Lewis. Just last year, he was the number 78 prospect in baseball. Play left and right. Got Happ, who can back up in center field and he's already 25 though. Yeah, maybe if he was a little younger, if he was 23, I'd probably pull the trigger there. Josh Lowe can only play center. No, I'm thinking I'm going to go with Ryan McKenna. He's just a solid defensive outfielder. A good eye. If his contact improves a little bit. Do I go McKenna? Do I go Duran? Duran's actually a bit better outfielder. He's got a bit higher speed. He's going to hit for a higher contact. Let me do this. Let's request a scouting report on both of them. We don't have to make a decision for another day or two, so let's see if we get a scouting report back on either of those players. Okay, cool. Got Lee. Yeah, see, those numbers are a lot better. I like those a lot more. That discipline is really cranked up now. He's only 22. Duran. Yeah, see, they like him even more now. At least 2 years younger. He's not as good defensively. Really can only play right field. Maybe if I stick him in left this year, his left field will start to see an improvement. Good defensive outfielder, so you have to think that those ratings will improve if I play him there. 405 OPS. I'm going to go with Khalil Lee. He's got the higher higher ceiling. I think is probably the move there. So let's go here. I'll pull this all back up again. Kansas City. Lee. Jed Hoyer doesn't like it, but that's fine. Let's take a look. Anybody else that we can add in here? He was their first round pick, right? Yeah. Not a chance, but we're going to ask. Yeah, kidding. Worst name in the history of pitching, unfortunately. Scott Blewett. Terrible for him. Anybody else here that I'm interested in? Not particularly. Nick Pratto. Maybe. What? What is going on here? That can't be right. That can't possibly be right. All right, we're just going to do this. Lee for David Bodie. And Khalil Lee will start the season, put him on the 40-man, but he will start the season in AAA. That gets us down to 26. Let's clear the lineups. Let's clear the depth charts. And let's make a lineup. So batting eye, so Ian Happ is going to lead off. Number 2 is going to be, I'm going to go Baez, Rizzo. I think we're going to do this. Go like that against righties. Batting 5th will be, do I want to bat Hazley? I mean, Hazley. It's pretty solid numbers. Does he look against righties? He doesn't even have that bad of a split. Let's do that a little bit to break up the left-right-left thing. Frazier will bat 6th. Nico Horner will bat 7th. And Salvador Perez will bat 8th. It's a pretty good lineup, I think. We will copy the lineup and paste. And any changes as with lefties? I don't think so. How are my lefties? Hazley doesn't have, like I just checked this, he doesn't have any noticeable split, so I'm fine there. And I'm not going to take Rizzo out. Horner, again, solid against both. Frazier's better against lefties. Ian Happ is a little bit worse against lefties. Maybe I don't bat him leadoff. Let's bat Happ leadoff against lefties. We'll do that against left-handed. Let's go there. Action. Let's copy that lineup. Let's paste this here. So we need a DH against lefties. Let's go Zach Short. Let's give him a shot in there as the DH to get a little bit of playing time. Let's go there. Action. Copy lineup. Paste lineup. And bring Hayward in. We'll put him in right field. Make him the designated hitter. And do I want to bat Hayward? It doesn't matter. Yeah, we'll bat him there. That's fine. And generate depth charts. And I think we're set, guys. So we are going to jump into the regular season. We start off against the Brewers. Archer, Rodriguez, and Wright will be 1, 2, 3 for us there. See anything else we want to take a look at really quickly? A front office. We still have plenty of money. We'll have to take a look at some of our salaries. I know Baez is up this year. Rodriguez is up this year. So we've got some people who are going to be kind of expensive. Perez will come off the books. Kimbrels will come off the books. So you can see we're actually dropping significantly in payroll. So we've got quite a bit of money. Let's just see what some of these guys are looking for. Javi is looking for 10 years, $225 million. I'm not signing him to a 10-year contract. His skills they're not old man skills. So once he starts to get older, I think we'll pay for this. I mean, I might be comfortable with Javi at 6. So we'll take a look there. And Eduardo Rodriguez, and he doesn't want, that's not bad at all. 5 years, $53 million. We'll give him a little bit, see how he does at the beginning of the season, and then take a look at it throughout the season. So I'm going to step away. I'm going to sim through April, and hopefully when we come back on May 1st, we will have a winning record. So stick around and find out. All right, it is May 1st, and we currently sit 18-13, half a game behind the Cincinnati Reds, good for second place in the National League Central. St. Louis Cardinals 8-25. They were actually 2-24 not too long ago, so they've gone on a bit of a hot streak, but they were really struggling. So let's take a look really quickly at, let's just get the bad out of the way. So Nico Hoerner lost for the season with a ruptured Achilles tendon. So that's 2 years in a row he suffered a major injury, and he was had gotten off to a pretty good start in those 3 games. So he is out for the season. What we ended up doing was moving Happ back to second base, and we signed Gerardo Parra to a contract to fill that role, backup outfielder role. Oops, I forgot to make my changes here. So let's do that really quickly. We got Hayward against righties. We'll let Parra play left field. Do this. And against lefties, Heredia will play left. No, this is what Heredia is going to play right. And Frazier's going to be the DH. And Happ is going to bat leadoff. All right. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm missing something. What am I missing? My second baseman. Ian Happ. Oh, I didn't have to make all those changes. So short is going to stay at DH. He's going to stay in left. In left, not short. This is what happens when you try to rush people. Slow and steady wins the race, as they say. All right. So Hoerner's done for the year. We signed Gerardo Parra to come in for him. And hopefully we don't suffer any more middle infield injuries. Salvador Perez wants a new contract. Again, $13 million. I'm not interested in that. Development update, anything outrageous here? Khalil Lee got a lot better. Yeah, I'm really excited about this. Hasn't hit for much power. The average is really probably is a little overmatched in AAA. I may want to consider, in fact, I'm definitely going to demote him to AA, and I will disable promotions so that I move him up when I'm ready. How's Amaya doing? 274, 382, 435. Good stuff. So let's take a look at the lineup. So this one's going to be a little bit quick. I'm just going to run through batting and pitching stats. take a look at the standings and just kind of go from there. So Chris Bryant gotten off to a red hot start, 2.8 WAR through really just a month. 9 home runs, 23 RBIs, 364, 489, 727 from the third baseman. So Chris Bryant knocking the cover off the baseball. Adam Hazley in his rookie season, 326, 404, 576, good for a 980 OPS. BABIP is a little unsustainable, but 1.2 WAR in his first big league month. I will take it. Ian Happ having another strong start to the season. Average is a little light, but slugging over 500, 850 OPS. Javi Baez, power's there. Average is a little light. He needs to bring that up to 270-ish in order to be really effective. Sitting at about half a WAR. Same for Salvador Perez, but he's doing exactly what I wanted. 240-ish, 800 OPS with some pop. Jason Hayward is actually having a pretty decent year with the bat. 280 average, 451 slugging, 308 BABIP. So he's not getting unlucky. He's actually hitting the ball pretty well. Anthony Rizzo struggling in that number 4 hole, only 2 home runs, 9 RBIs, 241 BABIP though, so you have to think that these will come up as the season goes on. Clint Frazier struggling as well with the bat, so looking for someone to replace him unless he can turn it around. He is only 26, but you have to wonder if his ceiling is somewhere in between last year and this year. So we'll see how May goes and then go from there. Pitching wise, things have been going pretty well on the pitching side of things. Chris Archer, his first season with the Cubs has been fantastic. 6-1 with a 2.72 ERA, striking out 8.4. The walks are low, which I like to see. 164 ERA plus, so he's been solid. Jonathan Loaiziga, 4-0, 2.09 ERA. Opponent's only hitting 188 off him. Eduardo Rodriguez has come on. He's only 2-3 with a 3.96 ERA, but if you look at his pitching, his game log, here was opening day. Gave up 5 runs in his first start, and he gave up 4 runs in his last start, but in between that, he only gave up 8 runs. He gave up 8 runs in, 5 starts in between his first and his last start. So he's been pretty good, a couple of 7-inning starts in there. So pretty solid start to his North Side career as well. Julio Urias, only 1-2, but an ERA 3.96, good for almost a full WAR through that first month. BABIP is really high, so you would have to think that he's getting a little unlucky, striking a lot of batters out, 33 and 25 innings. Kyle Wright has struggled out of the gate, 1-5 with a 6.39 ERA. Again, high BABIP. FIP is 4.13, so you have to think that his numbers will come in line as well. Matt Barnes, pretty well, 12 strikeouts, 10 innings. Liam Hendricks has been pretty rock solid, 4 saves, 0.96 ERA. Adbert Alzolay out of the bullpen has been phenomenal, 8 scoreless innings, 13 strikeouts. So overall, our pitching staff has been really, really solid. I will take it. So you can see starters ERA is 7th, bullpen ERA is 1st. Hitting is middle of the pack and up with just about everything. So pretty happy with the start to this season. What else do we want to look at? Fans are coming in. We got a 10% bump over last year, which is nice. Haven't made any moves on either of these. That's something I'll take a look at. Or Matt Barnes. I haven't taken a look at any of those here, but I'll probably spend a little bit of time in May talking to those guys and seeing what we can do there. You know what? Let's go ahead and sim ahead to the draft pool announcement. Maybe we'll take a look at some of those players. Clint Frazier, sore elbow. He can play through that. Not worried about that. We just lost to the Cardinals. Of course we did. We lost to the Cardinals again. Glad we could help the Cardinals get off their schneid. So a bit of a rough streak here. We lost a few games in a row. Let's take a look. Going back to April, yeah, we lost. We won a doubleheader from Washington on the 29th, and we lost to the Cardinals. We got swept by the Cardinals. We've lost 4 out of 5 here. So bit of a rough patch. It doesn't get any easier with the Dodgers coming up. So, all right, let's take a look at the draft pool. See what we got here. Oops, it's not what I want. Here. Draft pool. Players. Oh, yikes. That's no good. That's not a lot of talent. We're going to have to do some scouting here. Where does it say? It says we end up with Luke Davis, a catcher. I'm not interested in a catcher. I am interested in a Chris Adams. Where is he on this list? Yeah, he's right there. He's not going to fall to me. It's all starting pitchers, with the exception of Chris Davis, which tells me I can look at some of the hitters and try to grab whoever I want out of this list. So let's take a look at a Jeff Clark. Let's get a scouting report there. Wow, this is not a good draft class. Victor Ruelas, scouting report. Scouting report here. Scouting report on that Luke Davis. Let's get a scouting report on him just in case he falls to us, but I don't suspect he will. Pitchers we want to look at. I mean, these guys are all going to be gone. These were all the pitchers that were on the list ahead of me, so he's going to go first. I'm right. Hill was going to go first. Pruitt was going to go first. Okay. Pruitt, Hill, Craig, Mike Mullenix. I like that name. Let's take a look at some of these guys. Well, that might not be a bad option. He's Vince Watson and Eddie Young. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to request a scouting report on some of these guys. That's where I'm going to spend probably most of my spare time here over the next month. And when we come back, it will be draft day. So Cubs 19-16, 2.5 games out of first place. Pitching staff doing pretty well. Some of our hitters are doing really well, and we're in a pretty good position, I think, on May 5th. So we will see you again in a month. All right, it is time for the first year player draft. Before we jump into that, though, let's take a look at the team and where they stand through almost 2.5 months now, since you got a week in June, and that last week in March was the first week of the season. So 2.5 months into the season, and your Chicago Cubs sit atop the National League Central with a 34-28 mark. Full 1.5 clear of the second place Reds, 3 games ahead of the Milwaukee Brewers. Pirates in fourth at 29-33, and the St. Louis Cardinals bringing up the rear at 20-43. Let's take a look at the league-wide standings. The Braves, as expected, running away with the NL East 40-21. The Dodgers 45-17 in the NL West, with the Rockies at 40-22. Things are a bit closer in the American League. Tampa Bay 37-25 lead the Blue Jays by 3 games. The Indians have a 4-game lead over the Minnesota Twins, and the Angels and Astros, for all intents and purposes, are tied atop the AL West. So quickly, let's take a look at we'll go lineups. Actually, you know what? Let's do this first. So Javi Baez has been struggling with the bat this year, hitting only .207. 68 OPS plus, so he's not really getting it done offensively, but this gave me an opportunity to try to extend him at a bit cheaper cost, and we were able to do that. We signed Baez to a 6-year, $106 million contract. He's going to make $13.5 million next year, 16 the year after that, then 3 years at 19, with his final year a player option at 20. So that will take him through his year 34 season. I'm pretty comfortable with that. We may start to see a drop in production as we get around here, but hopefully the glove, as he still plays a solid shortstop, the glove will make up for some of that. But Javi Baez locked up through his age 34 season. So let's take a look at the Cubs offensively. Again, led by Chris Bryant, has had an absolutely monster start to the season. 333, 445, 708 slugging percentage. Good for an OPS of 1153. Almost a 5-WAR player through just 2.5 months. So Chris Bryant having a monster year. Adam Hazley's got to be in the running for the NL Rookie of the Year as he's hitting 332, slugging 537, 2.1 more. I said that BABIP wasn't sustainable. Well, he's increased it, and maybe it is sustainable this year. Who knows? Ian Happ doing a pretty good job at the top of the order. Only a 337 on-base percentage, but 11 home runs, 41 runs scored, so he's doing really well. Anthony Rizzo had a much better month of May. If we look at his splits, April he hit 191. May he hit 303, 400, 525. So Anthony Rizzo bounced back nicely in the 4-hole, which is huge for us. Salvador Perez doing exactly what we want. The average is a little light. I'd like to see him closer to 240, but 10 home runs, 764 OPS, and playing pretty respectable defense as well. So I will take it there. Jason Hayward has had a pretty nice season offensively, thrust into the lineup when Horner went down. Playing primarily against righties, 279, 328, 419, and as always, playing above average defense in both center and right for us. So still not worth $21 million, but at least we're getting something out of him. We talked about Baez already, and then you can see the rest of the hitters here. Clint Frazier still not getting it done, although his average has climbed a little bit. Gerardo Parra, that experiment's not working out. We might have to look for another potential option. I mean, the numbers aren't terrible. His batting numbers aren't terrible, but he's just not, yeah. I mean, I'm trying not to play him against lefties, and you can see he's got 17 pinch hitting or 17 plate appearances, only 2 hits. So he's not getting it done. We'll have to see maybe if there's something we can do internally. He didn't cost us anything, so we have to cut him. We cut him. Heredia's doing a nice job in a backup role. So there's the offense. Pitching-wise for the Cubs, things continue to look really, really solid. Chris Archer, 8-2 in his first full season as a Cub, 3.01 ERA, 2.7 WAR, striking out just about 9 batters per 9 innings, keeping the walks down. Jonathan Loaiziga, 6-4, 3.19 ERA, also doing really well. Julio Urias, ERA is a little high, 4.79, but the FIP is about almost a run and a quarter less than that. So I think second half, his numbers will start to look a little nicer. Striking out almost 12 per 9 innings, though. Eduardo Rodriguez doing a nice job with the Cubs. Excuse me. 6-4, 3.13 ERA. Davy Garcia doing an excellent job out of the bullpen, 54 strikeouts in 34 innings. Seth Lugo doing exactly what we needed him to do, 45 strikeouts and only 6 walks in 37 innings, 1.69 ERA. Really the only pitcher who's struggling this year is Kyle Wright. He's 2-8 with a 6.11 ERA, so I think at the very minimum we're going to drop Wright down to the 5-hole so he doesn't get quite as many starts. We may think about moving him to the pen and giving Alzolay a shot. Let's do that. Let's give Adbert Alzolay a shot here. We're going to put him in middle relief for the time being just to see if we can get control because, I mean, these numbers are too good for that to be the end result. So let's give him a bit of time in the pen to kind of work out things. We'll move Alzolay into the back into the rotation and see how he does there. Prospects, Miguel Amaya, absolutely destroying the ball in AAA, making it very hard for me to keep him in the minors. 325, 436, 630. We may be calling him up sooner rather than later. Brennan Davis in high A ball, 252, 357, 455. We'll probably leave him in high A ball until the All-Star break and then move him up to Double A. If we take a look at our prospect pipeline, where is he? Jason Dominguez is the guy that I really want to keep an eye on. He's the player we got from the Yankees. Again, that power looks like it's dropped a little bit, but if he can put up those kinds of numbers, if his numbers they end up right around there, I'll be perfectly content with that. Joey Van Luik, he was our international signee last year. He's coming along nicely as well. So some decent prospects in the system that will start to pan out here, I would assume, over the next year or so. So let's get right to the first-year player draft. We are picking 11th. I did a bunch of scouting over the last month or so, so I'm pretty well versed on a lot of these guys, thankfully. So we will scout to next pick for me. And player that I was hoping was going to be there was this guy, and he actually is. Oh, and that's why I didn't see his bonus demand. All right, well, let's take a look at what we got. Ben Kosand. Bonus demand is 7, but that's not bad. Again, high school pitching numbers, you can't really pay much attention to. These guys will just mow through players. Let's take a look at the batters. There were a couple of hitters, nothing really fantastic, but Josh Whitson, pretty solid shortstop, great arm, decent speed. He'll learn the position as we go forward. A front runner, 25 home runs a season. I think we're going to go Josh Whitson. I'll take him. Let's move on to the second round. And are either of those pitchers still available? No, and that's fine. Didn't expect them to. So what else do we have available? There's not going to be much. This wasn't a very good class from what I saw. That's pretty bad. Pretty bad. Jason Gonzalez went to Vanderbilt. Good power. Yeah, we'll give him a whirl. If he can improve the contact a little bit, he'll be a solid pick for us, or a solid player. Same thing with meh. Cheng. Logan Bender to NC State. He was pretty good. I mean, his college numbers, I tend to look at the numbers. I mean, your numbers are what they are. They don't lie. These are all relative and subject to opinion. These are not. So let's give Logan Bender a shot. Oh, wait a second. What about Hunter Riggins? Competition wasn't as good. Cole Alford. Yeah. Go with Logan Bender. Oh, they're both there anyway. Of course they are. Slade O'Brien, reliever. Go to school, St. Joseph's. St. Joe's in Philly. Ugh. Just ugh. I don't know what else to say other than that. Let's see. Let's just look. Just who had the highest OPS? Scott Morgan. Never picked based off stats, but it's got to account for something. At least you would think it would. Look at competition. Solid, at least is. We're gonna give that. We're gonna. I don't normally do this, but we're gonna do that. We're gonna draft him based off his college stats. Probably not a good idea, but you know, it is what it is. Pitching potential. All pitchers. This is just not good, man. He's got 3 solid pitches. Yeah, sure, why not? Cole Alford, and then we will let the computer draft the rest because that was just a terrible draft. Let's go ahead and give these guys what they're asking for. Save a little bit of money on the draft this year, I guess. That's fine. 80 grand, sure. Alfred. All right. So that is our draft. We currently sit at 34-28, good for first place in the National League Central. Next episode will take us trading deadline through the end of the season. So that's gonna do it for this episode. If you liked it, leave me a like. Go ahead and subscribe. If you've got any comments or anything you'd like to see me do more of, or anything you'd like to see me do less of, like would you like to see me actually play the games? I don't really play a lot of them. I like to just sim the engine. But if you'd like to see me play, I'd be more than happy to play a few games here and there. Any suggestions on players that I should look at or go after? Again, I do this for me, but I also do it for people who want to watch. So if you have any suggestions, let me know. And until we talk again, everybody take care. Bye-bye.